We should be live. Oh, I probably shouldn't have had this pulled up. Oops. Whatever. First map's
It's
okay.
okay. We'll just start it with the Nomad one. It's all good. I don't know. Konpeko, konpeko, konpeko. Hey guys, all right. Here it is. The pool is finally coming along. I am gonna ask Ellie to do one last ping. All right. So let me throw the link in general. We'll give people a second to come around, but otherwise, okay. But
Oh wow,
all
microsign
right.
in the chat.
Microsign in the chat. All right, we'll start. We'll just start at 35 then. We'll start at 35. Buh. Yay! Thank. Awesome. Buh. Na na. Da, 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 da. All right, we can start. We'll start Nomad 1 in about 30 seconds. Hello, Duck Badger. Hello, No Head. Daihon. Hello, bro. It's time.
Yep.
All right, and any second now. Yeah. All right. Well, a little bit about this poll. This poll's going to be around 6.3 stars, so not so middle of the range in terms of the difficulty you might see for 5 digits. And all right, let's just start with Nomad 1.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah. All right, first map, Nomad 1. Uh, this is a replay from Ben. He got this last night, um, thankfully. And this is Ohashi Takuya's Katamari on the Wings. 210 BPM aim map, and it was used as Nomad 1 in the OC World Cup back in 2022. Round of 32, mapped by Melon Boy. His aim is pretty. It's not 100% your generic Nomad 1. It's a little bit awkward, and it's a little faster, but it's a very fun map overall. Pretty and it's pretty constant as it gets with a Nomad 1. You don't really get to stop playing at all. Maybe one break or two, but you just get thrown with aim the whole map. But you do get these pretty cool, pretty calm verses. And honestly, it's just a really good song in general, so thank you for OWC for asking Melon Boy to map this. Thank God. So for now, not much else to know, honestly. But we are going to get into the first PI. You get some of those cool little transitions into, again, a lot more jumps, a lot of, slightly unconventional angles, but really, your aim, as long as you can aim at this SR, you really shouldn't struggle with this. Though, the single tapping could be a bit of a problem if you don't have that good of a single tap. So, just in case, I would suggest thinking about whether you can alt or single tap this. As we get into the second half, the map definitely does ramp up a little. Get a few more triples, some of those doubles, those sliders. The aim really starts to jump out at you around this 1K combo mark. And you get some more awkward patterns that really try to test whether, you're trying to fake it through this map. But you are rewarded quite handsomely if you do combo into this second, or this next verse at the 2/3 mark. Yes, this is Nomod 1. It's a pretty chill little map. Hello everyone, by the way, just in case I've missed you. And here we go. You get a pretty cool little transition right before the final chorus. Yep. And then here we go. The aim does ramp up here for this final TI. The spacing, you can see it increases a little bit. It's really similar to the other two TIs, but you know, just that slight bit harder, right? But again, nothing too serious, nothing too awkward. But there are some notes at the very end, so you do want to make sure that you keep on playing to the very end. And you know, keep your focus up, or that's gonna happen to you. Alright, well, thank you, Ben, for providing that Nomad 1 replay.
Yeah, it was a good replay. You know, he could have FC'd, but we'll let it slide.
It's okay, we'll let it slide. Don't let him do that. Don't let him do that again. We know what you are.
Yeah.
Alright. Move on to Nomad 2 now. And it's going to be him above traumatic emotions. Oh, I just realized that that the initials there are hate, which is, I didn't even notice that, and I've played this in a tournament before, but anyways. Alright,
Yeah,
this is yeah, also 6.31 stars, 180 BPM. It's a fairly short Nomad 2 as well. It's only 2 minutes long, but the flow aim requirement definitely makes up for that shorter length. This time we have a replay from Falu, who got pretty close to an FC, but with 95 AC and a whole lot of 50s. But it's okay. Let's just get on. Yep, and I don't recall anyone here playing during this point, but this was also a Nomad 2 in the 5-Digit World Cup 2023. I believe this was quarterfinals or no, this was I believe this was the quarterfinals Nomad 2, if I'm correct. I do remember playing this map, but as we get into the map, you see the streams on this map are really long, and there's a lot of angle changes that can really trip you up if you aren't careful. You see Falu dropping those 50s, and it's not even Falu losing stamina, it's just Falu slightly being behind there. And that's kind of how this map goes. You have to have a lot of cursor control because of how the streams get at you. They aren't 100%, you know, normal regular flow. There is some pretty abrasive cuts you have to make, but again, another section in the middle that rewards you quite handsomely with some good score should you survive the first half of the stream map. But some 1/3 as well, so you do want to, you know, stay on your toes. And here it is. This is the Ki. See, the streams really starts ramping up. It's less about that flow control and more about whether you can just keep up with the flow aim now. You can see the streams nearly spaced, nearly not touching each other. And some 1/3, so again, gotta stay careful. And and Falu falling off a little bit on those streams. But I mean, this map really does get quite hard at the end. And that's your Nomad 2. All right, yeah. Thank you, Falu, for the replay. And we can move on to our Nomod 3 now. Ooh, old map players rejoice. We have a replay from me. No, 0 100s, but 250s and 8 misses, and you'll see how that came to be once the map plays out. A little bit about this map. Very old map. This was mapped back in like 2011 or 2012. 140 BPM. It's pretty low SR, 5.87, but it is also quite dense. You have that AR9 OD8 combo that you see a lot for these old maps. Also mapped by Tutu Haha, another very old mapper. And it's about 3 minutes long, and let's get into it. Oh wait, this might actually be the same age as Micro Cyan. This might actually be the same age as Micro Cyan.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Alright. So, a little bit about this map. You do see a lot of that type, a lot of these like symmetric type alt patterning. And there's a lot of focus on, you know, as it is an old map, these sort of geometric-ish flow patterns. And at 140 BPM, it's also quite dense, honestly. It's not like other alt maps that you see today where everything just flows very smooth with that AR, you know, like 9.5, 9.6. And yeah, you do see that miss. And you can see there's a lot of things that you have to snap to on this map. And that can definitely trip you up. At a higher AR, this would be a lot more approachable. And you could probably put it, you know, even like 6.1, but the density does become a real factor here. But for now, the key eyes stay relatively the same. A lot of these flow patterns, you know, hexagons, pentagons, and you get your snaps. You do get that hexagon, which is directly in the middle, by the way. So if you break on that hexagon or on that, you are score capped. Also, oh really? I am number 6 on the map. I have a hidden Hard Rock FC. Do not try me with this, man. Don't do this to me. I have the number 6 score, man.
Self-glaze is crazy.
No, I will glaze myself, bro. I can't let myself get beat down like this. And we do get another one of the killer patterns coming up any second now. That's not the one, but it did kill like all of my act.
That one is hard.
Yeah, that's hard. That's a really hard snap, actually. Especially for AR9. But, you know, coming into the final section of the map, right, the difficulty stays relatively consistent throughout all these key eyes, but it does ramp up, again, a little bit at the end. The flow and the snap are put together side by side, and so you have to switch back and forth between them pretty fast. And just the final pattern, final little pentagon there. If you hit it, good job, good combo. If you don't, rip FC. Easy 500 PP map. Play slow motion, or I don't know, go Formus Angreifer or something.
Yeah.
All right, and we're on to Nomod 4 now. This one's been seen in a good few tournaments. If you're 5-digit, Luzeria's, and I don't know, man. NBT HWT, mapped by Gordon. That guy's a pretty well-known mapper for the tourney scene. And we have a replay from Metalis, 98.8% S rank, not an FC, unfortunately. But nonetheless, some good AC, 2.5 minutes long, 185 BPM. And this time, rejoice, it is AR 9.5. Also 6 stars flat, so you do get to read this normally, thank God. Thank you, bro. Yeah. All right. Can get into this. So, I'd say this is a pretty good map to introduce you guys to tech in this tournament. And if you've played 5-digit tournaments before, this is pretty standard in terms of your Nomod 5. You get a few of some finger control, some slider control, like you see there, right? You get some doubles mixed in, but it's just all about control here. And you can see this is the beginning section, right? As long as you can hold those slider ends, you do get a pretty comfy act bonus. But yeah, but there is also quite a lot of flow aim changing, and this transition definitely can kill you, especially those streams with the changing flow aim. But this is the real meat of the map, and Metalis holding an SS into the halfway point is actually pretty awesome. I kind of cursed that there, but like that's still kind of goated. I can't lie to you, that is goated. And it's a slider break in the exact middle.
The slider break sucks.
Oh yeah.
Too much glaze in the chat. I gotta tone it back.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the first big ki, and you get the first big slider, which by the way you should probably just aim for that tick instead of aiming the full slider. You saw Metalis do it, and there's the second one. Metalis aimed that second one, but again, if non-tech players learn to hit the ticks, not the full slider, because you are going to break otherwise. Trust. And again, another chill, slow combo section that rewards anyone who makes it past. And then here we go, the final ki of the map. And we're building up to it. You know, the finger control, not out of it yet. You still have the you still have all this finger control at the end, but it's a lot less aim intensive, so really just up to if you can tap it or not. And then another little final section to end the map off. And that's your Nomod 4. Yeah, thank you for Metalis. Thank you to Metalis for getting us that replay.
Yeah.
All right. And we have the Hidden One. It's a Noah map, so high BPM Hidden One. Who could have seen this one coming? And yeah, I'll talk a little about the map while it plays. Another sort of low SR, 6.04 stars, but again, high BPM, kind of awkward aim, so it does make up for it. Noah song, 3.5 minutes long, not as long as the Nomad one, but you know, one of the longer maps in the pool. And you got 230 BPM, or 231, I guess. I guess you can't forget that. And it's AR 9.4, OD 8.8, CS4. So those stats pretty regular. This map really is just defined by awkward aim angles. Flame Haze, pretty well-known mapper when it comes to these. And the map it just keeps throwing you with these weird, awkward angles. And there is a general lack of burst in the first part of the map. So again, really just testing your aim. Small little transition there, you're right to check. Don't miss on that triple. But not so speed intensive, really just putting you right? Even in the key eyes, the difficulty stays generally constant. Spacing does increase a little, as you can see, but not not as div spiky as you'd think. And there is that little burst at the end, but again, if you have played the map, then you should be able to anticipate it. But oh yeah, speed spike. Oops. Alright. And we're entering the final quarter of the map. Fuck, I missed. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably should have FC'd this one, not gonna lie.
You're right, I should have FC'd it. And yeah, the final part of the final key eye, not super div spiky compared to the rest of the map, but still, do want to make sure you keep your nerves in check for this. And with that, that'll be your hidden one. Tiny little spike to end it off, but you know, there it is. 99 AC. I don't know, not much else to say, so we'll move on to the reading slot.
Wow.
Here it is. We've got June's Kimono Heart Princess extra diff mapped by Bazuso. It's a pretty generic hidden two. More aimy, 190 BPM, very short as well. As these June DDR songs are. 1 minute 40 seconds. Again, AR8, OD8, 5.4 stars, and we've got. It's another replay, except I sure wonder how that ended.
Yeah, that graph tells us nothing.
Yep. Yeah. There are a few a few overlaps, but again, not too reading intensive. Really just tests your consistency at low AR. You do get a few of these like back and forth type patterns, but again, nothing that tries to fake you out or anything. It's just it's a bit of a practice map maybe, and if you're already accustomed to AR8 hidden, you just give it a shot. Maybe side read it the day of. Really not much else to note other than the fact that there is a difficulty spike at the very last pattern, which is similar to that vertical line pattern you saw at the beginning.
Yeah, I love when mappers do that.
I know. Dude, DDR, I don't know, DDR songs just love making div spikes at the end like the perfect thing to add. I don't get why they do it. Yeah, oh, little tapping spike. Hidden 2 players, or reading players, beware, you do have to tap for 2 seconds. And
yep, you just took out half the reading players are gone with the tapping requirement. It's over.
Yep, that's so sad, and there goes my combo at the end as well.
Well, at least you tried.
That is unfortunate. Well, it's okay, I tried. That's all we could ask for.
Exactly.
Alright. That's okay though. And alright, we'll move on to the next song, and this one's gonna be a banger. This is the one, y'all.
Is it Hard Rock or DT next?
It's Hard Rock 1. It's Hard Rock 1.
Oh my
Here
goodness.
it is. We've got Masterpiece. Woo. yeah, we've got Daily Care's Extra Diff of Masterpiece. This is the newer ranked set, the one mapped by all the Koreans like a year or like a few months ago. We got a replay from Falu, again done last night. Thank you. 98.5 AC, 1 miss, 800k. As for the map itself, again, as with the one slots, it's been on the longer side. Over 3.5 minutes long, 180 BPM. It is after Hard Rock. It is 6.3 stars, CS 5.2, and then AR OD 10. So again, thank you, Falu, and let's get on to it so we can talk more about the map. No Yorushika? Oh, come on. But you gotta admit. Masterpiece, masterpiece. And while Nomod 1 was trying to test just your general jump aim, Hidden 1 attempted to test your more awkward aim. This Hard Rock 1 is trying to test again some awkward aim, but really more low BPM aim. A lot of these patterns are going to be fairly spaced, fairly awkward as well. You can see there's a lot of sort of geometric mapping that takes some inspiration from the original map set. And you can see a lot of spacing on those jumps. And the key is the style of mapping stays quite constant. You have these doubles also scattered throughout the map, so that could definitely catch you off. And hey, Metalis, we are on.
Guys, I'm finally here. We lost on the HR1 by 40k because they let me play it. So
Damn
that's
mistake.
unfortunate.
yeah, bro. I got like I'm the only person.
Dog, we
that
are in the
got
middle of the
it.
showcase. We
Okay,
are
you're
on
right.
Hard
You're
Rock
right.
1.
Let's go. Let's go. So this is Hard Rock 1. Is this the one with the squares?
Not really.
Not really squares, but you know your heart's in the right place. It's Masterpiece.
Masterpiece. Okay. Seems like
It's yeah, and this second chorus hits you with. It's really just non-stop like single tap aim or all if you can hit it, and you just get hit with some of these more geometric patterns and some of those triples. It's definitely meant to test your awkward angles, but again, surviving that, you get to play the infamous part. This is where the squares originally are in the old map. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolute banger.
Yeah. Daily Care does replace them with more triangular jumps, but again, good stuff nonetheless. And oh, don't tell me Falu misses like right after. Oh, okay, never mind.
Wait, he missed.
No, he misses somewhere. Not
Falu
not
never
right after the
misses.
break. Well, Falu never misses. You're right.
Unless he doesn't. He might miss.
No, Falu got it. Falu got that.
So, this map has a bunch of bursts in it. Very wide jumps.
Very wide jumps, and oh, the breaks on a slider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this final ki really slams it in you. The wide angles, the linear style aim, and the spacing really maxes out.
Yeah, it really hits you from the back really hard. You never expect him to come. So,
I don't know.
Yeah, you got jokes.
I'm talking about the map.
Yeah, and there's Falu's miss.
That's
Unfortunate miss. And there it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Chill
I
little
lived
map.
the hiddens, so I love my life.
Unfortunate. Yeah, well, and here we go. Yeah, thank you to Falu for the replay. Been doing wonders for these aim mechanics maps. Thank God. And with that, it's time. It's time for precision.
Yes,
We've got
we love precision.
yay.
Everyone's
Yeah,
favorite
I'll
skill
talk-
set.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah, and unless it's an alt map.
Yeah, we've got Ares map set of Wave by Hanatan. This is originally 5.1 stars. It's gonna be CS 6.5 again, AR OD10. Honestly, this Hard Rock pool's on the longer side, so this Hard Rock's 3 minutes long, 130 BPM as well, and as Metallis said, it's really on the alt aim control.
Yes,
So let's get into it.
Yeah, low BPM, 130 BPM.
Yeah.
Hydro
And-
really loves to pull the low BPM side on the Hard Rock. So, you know, if you're good at precision, I'm sure you can play this.
And yeah, this map is also quite low SR. It's 5.85 stars or something like that after Hard Rock as well.
Yeah,
And-
originally we thought it was too easy, but we just decided to keep it anyway. You know, being
Yeah.
this alt.
Yeah. The SR is deceiving though. There is actually not a lot of Hard Rock FCs on this if I'm correct. And let's see. You have a lot and you'll see this in the first chorus. But there's a lot of switch up between, you know, just big aim across the screen and then these small micro adjustment patterns that force you to sort of jump back and forth between them. And again, it's really disorienting if you're not a Hard Rock player by heart.
Yeah, really hard patterns here. Gonna throw off anybody who doesn't practice. So,
Oh yeah,
definitely gonna need to put in a few attempts on this map.
for sure.
Especially with these kind of big, somewhat big alt patterns with Hard Rock in that CS5, making it, you know, especially hard.
Yeah, and you know, second second verse gives you a lot of the same stuff, and then yeah, the patterns do ramp up a little bit. You see the aim getting a little bit more space. So
Yeah, kind
the
of
alt, yeah.
Yeah, this map kind of hybrids between the, you know, jump aim and the alt pattern. You know, the jump aim coming out of nowhere, especially after this alt pattern.
Yeah,
making this
but-
extremely hard map.
But this is really going to be the alt spike of the map. You see a lot of those micro adjustments as long as some longer flow aim patterns. Fairly short in terms of a dip spike though, but again, one more course to go after that, so you're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, 3 minutes long. You need very good consistency to be able to play this all the way through and get a consistent score every time.
Yeah, this is definitely a hard map to be consistent on. I mean, like I've had plays that had like 700k potential, kind of get tanked by, you know, just the ending sections being the way they are.
Yeah, I can tell why. This is really hard. Just doing the same thing, but it's gonna be ending with a slide or a spinner.
Yep.
Nice
Small little
500
spinner.
bro.
Thanks, bro. And all right. And that leaves us with just the DT pool to go.
Yes, I did miss half of the pool, but it is okay.
It's okay.
DT
And-
won.
DT won.
Yeah, I have played this map a few
Yes.
times. Yeah, I actually played it a while ago when I was really bad at DT, and this map is kind of just, you know, 10.1 aim
Mhm.
with a little bit of burst in it, which kind of makes it that kind of difficult. But as long as you can read the AR and have pretty decent aim, you'll be okay on it.
Yeah, as Metal said, this is our DT1. Aya Hirayama Sayonara Rolling Star, mapped by Baraton. We've got a 97.3% FC from Falu. This one's going to be pretty mid-range in terms of DT1 BPM, 246 BPM. Also pretty long, I believe. I believe this is still... No, this is like 2.5 minutes-ish after DT. So, you know, you're not going to be here forever, but you're going to be there for a bit.
On the shorter, longer side of the map, around like 2 minutes 30, yeah.
Yeah. Let's get in here. Again, I don't know if anyone was here for that time, but this was pulled as the DT1 in the low SR tryouts for 5WC USA tryouts back in 2023. So you know, this one's been around for a good while.
I totally remember that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. As Metallo said, it's a good introduction to your DT aim.
Yeah. Especially with these notes at the end of the sliders, kind of need you to, you know, if you can kind of throwing you off a little bit, you could misread on some of these if you don't expect them. And a big kind of aim spike into the key eye with some long sliders that could throw you off into the aimier sections of the map.
It's just a really good test of DT aim overall. You do get a few bursts, a few awkwardish patterns that force you to sort of, you know, get acclimated to that DT really fast. Again, this is AR 10.1, originally 8.7, so you do want to keep that in mind. This is not going to be a walk in the park like an 8.5, you know?
Yeah, and these maps aren't, the aim isn't usually like as comfortable as some people, you know, with those squares in the map and the star patterns. With this kind of awkward aim, I'd like to say, making it especially hard on DT.
Yeah, and you do have, again, you know, DT1, you've got a few bursts, aim, so definitely adds on to the, you know, the slight awkwardness of this map to make it, you know, harder to play. But again, these key eyes, no real deviation, you know, the spacing ramps up, of course, in the key eyes, but, you know, no real difference throughout the map. It's the same, you can expect the same type of aim throughout.
Yeah, throughout the map, this is a very consistent DT1 where if you can, you know, hit some of the patterns, you should be able to hit the rest of the map. Unless you get those nerves, and especially with those 5-note bursts kind of coming unexpectedly.
Oh
you
yeah.
Definitely need to play this at least once or twice.
Yeah, you can definitely get caught on that burst right before the break if you're not careful.
Yeah, and those jumps kind of getting, you know, spikier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this map isn't too hard, but you know, you're gonna need to be at least a decent DT player to be able to play this or come close to have seen this in match.
Definitely.
You need to have that DT.
I don't know how Palu saved that, by the way. That guy might be the GOAT.
I told you he doesn't miss.
Oh, he doesn't miss!
Oh my god! I think I would have missed here. Oh my god.
He doesn't miss, by the way. Final Heart Slider that, like, probably, like, 4 people are gonna break on.
On everybody's life, Falu is the GOAT.
He might be number 2, but we all know who's number 1.
Oh, yeah, true. I don't know how he saved that, but you know what? You know, fair enough. And again, any combos into the end do get handsomely rewarded with this free, like, what, 100, 150k?
Yeah.
You know, it's a good, you get very handsomely rewarded for surviving that, for sure.
You know, also, with the map being CS 4.2, kind of on that higher CS side.
Yeah.
On
a little higher than what you see regularly, but not too bad. Not too much.
Yeah. And we're gonna get into DT2.
DT2, yeah.
This is the tapping map. This
Oh,
was
Bombo!
I think this was in OWC or Corsace, one of those.
Don't even remember. Corsace 23, round of 32.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's a again, if you've been in 5-digit for the past year or two, you'll definitely recognize this map.
Yeah, it's been used a while.
Don't ask where it comes from, but you know, that's okay.
I mean,
250.
The art kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, you're right. But anyways, 255 BPM, AR 8.4 that bumps up to 9.9 after DT, and yeah, actually it turns out I'm gonna backtrack on what I said about Sayonara Rolling Star. That's actually 3.5 minutes long after DT. This is 2.5 after DT.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this was pulled by Hydro or me. Don't remember. Do you remember which one pulled it?
I think I was the one who suggested it.
Yeah, okay, Hydro pulling this, so thank him
Yeah.
if you cannot indeed play this.
Speed players or DT players, rejoice! If you can play this, you are about to have the best average bump of your life.
Yes,
All right, let's
XO8
get
is
into
gonna
it.
be eating good with this one, bro.
Yeah. Everyone else, send your complaints to Hydro's DMs.
Everyone else sent your complaints to Course Ace Open for letting this be mapped. Not my fault that I'm making use of my resources.
Yeah,
But-
complain to Kabor about it if you don't like it.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll pass on all your complaints.
Put it in the full feedback that totally exists.
Yeah.
There is no feedback. It's perfect already. But yeah, as you can tell from the start of this map, again, this map really, it's a little awkward. It tests a lot of your burst control. You know,
Yeah.
you see the raw stamina requirement really not really being tested as we saw that in Nomad 2, but these bursts, your ability to control through them is definitely being tested here.
Yeah, especially on that high BPM aspect, being 250. You know,
Yeah.
like the tapping, you know, a lot of people might be struggling with this with those kind of long bursts for the BPM, like 9 to 10 note bursts. So as long as you're comfortable with hitting 10 note bursts at 250 BPM, you should be fine. Also, this map isn't just mainly raw tapping, there is some aim. So, if
For
you
sure.
miss on, sorry. But
Yeah, and as you can see, the bursts do get a little longer. The patterns a little more abrasive. You saw those consecutive triples. Those can be some killer patterns if you aren't ready to change your flow aim. And this
Yeah.
upcoming section before the final chorus, probably the most control intensive of the map. You see some doubles being incorporated in there now as well.
yeah,
Right.
and getting into the longer side of the streams, you know,
Yeah.
especially what
And you
Hydro
see that.
Oh, that was
That's a
nearly a
killer.
knife right there. What Hydro said about those triples, you know, the triples going into the burst, getting kind of space, could throw you off on this map.
For sure. And you see slight over tap there, but that's okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk
And-
about this.
Yeah. I do want to point out that last stack was a quad. I had to catch that like split second, or I would have missed. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's a pretty hard DT2, all things considered. But you know, right? The speed going to be handsomely rewarded here, and that's gonna be your DT2 for the qualifiers.
yeah.
Oh, it's Magi says it's mashable. I'm gonna trust you there because I
Yeah,
remember.
This
I
is
had
a
to
totally
mash.
double tappable map. You can
No,
mash,
I would
double tap it, everything.
mash. Yes, double tap. No, you can't double tap that. You
I
can't.
mean, it's doable in like
Sure.
maybe.
It's okay.
It's
It's okay.
it's okay. It's doable. It's doable if you decide your Osu Shala for like 12 seconds.
Yes, bro. Wait, is there anything else I forgot?
No, that is it.
Okay, well, thank you guys for coming to the qualifier pool showcase. That is all we have for today. You know,
Yes.
registrations will be ending in a little bit, so if you haven't signed
Actually,
No,
I
no,
have
that's-
some news. Nope. We lied. Registrations are actually going to end at the end of qualifiers. So, again,
What?
qualifiers. Yeah, qualifiers are going to be running basically next weekend. What next weekend?
who's we?
This
Be
was
so
known.
for- Yeah, this was known. We've talked about this, by the way.
I think it's
I'm
already in
joking.
announcements.
Already
I-
in an yeah, it is in announcements. That is true, but yeah, signups will be extended up to the end of qualifiers, so that you have what I think an extra week or two to sign up now. Yeah, qualifiers will end on after May 4th, which is in 2 weeks from now, and we'll have lobbies for the weekends, but there are instructions on how to self-ref your own qualifiers lobby if you so wish. Just remember, DM them to Ellie, Metalis, or me beforehand, and make sure that you play everything in order, follow the instructions, And other than that, good luck, everyone. I hope to see a lot. I hope to see everyone play their qualifiers, and I hope to see some pretty cool brackets at the end of it all.
Yes, guys. Good luck in the tournament. We're all rooting for everybody individually, equally. So good luck in your qualifiers, bro.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for watching the stream. Good luck on your qualifiers. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day. Yep.